I will now very briefly introduce one example, what I would call a best practice. Of course, it's in a Western context, so not applicable all over the world, but still it gives maybe some good hints for the development of areas and sites. So we go a level deeper in the spatial scale, not at the building level, but at the level of a certain neighborhood. And this area is part of the city of Zurich, where a cooperative had the idea really to create not only a settlement or just a certain group of buildings, but they really had the ambition to create a functioning, diverse, eco-friendly neighborhood, which is also sustainable in the economic and financial sense. And I really believe they did an amazing job, and if you ever make it to Switzerland in the future, go and visit this development. They had some guiding principles. One key principle was the 2000 watt society in the sense of an environmentally sustainable site. They called their cooperative more than housing, indicating that they want to achieve more than just an area of flats and houses, and they based their development on a non-profit model, meaning that every household could buy a share of that cooperative, and then the cooperative runs based on a non-profit model, offering in the end affordable housing and affordable workspaces. So people also work within this development to some degree, and also of course external companies and self-employed work in this neighborhood. What they also try to do really is to promote personal initiative and self-organization. So in that sense, giving the opportunity that these families and the households, they organize themselves, create some community gatherings, offer certain services to each other, and it started really well. So in relation to the environmental dimension, as I said before, the use of energy was a key issue for this cooperative, and they certified the development as 2000 watt site. And 2000 watt is a label in Switzerland, and the idea is that you use a maximum of 2000 watt of continuous power per capita. And the strategy to reach this goal was in the field of efficiency, so use less energy for the same purpose, consistency, use renewables instead of non-renewables energy resources, and also use eco-friendly technologies. And then last but not least, sufficiency. Use less for a better quality of life. Sometimes it's good to use less and still you can maintain your life as you did before, or even better. Funny enough, this development, and they didn't have that in mind when they really started, got an award from the United Nations World Habitat in 2016. What did the jury really thought is innovative in this neighborhood development? They really were impressed by the environmental features of the development, which went beyond legal requirements. And then the low carbon living, which started already in 2016, and you could see that the energy use and the CO2 emissions are way below other comparable developments in Switzerland. And then it was also interesting how diverse the neighborhood started, with different cultural backgrounds, economic backgrounds, families, non-families, and last but not least, as it has to be the ambition of the cooperative, the whole model is really financially sustainable. The cooperative is able to invest again in this neighborhood if it needs to be invested. So I covered that very briefly, but you can see on the slide the link directing you to the jury report of the United Nations World Habitat Award, and there you can really access more information about this best practice example here. So now I come to the last part, to the conclusions. So you as architect, you as planner or real estate developer, what can you do? what can you do when you think of planning buildings or urban areas? So first, again, city regions are the key. You have the challenges in city regions, but you also have many opportunities to come up with solutions. And urbanization is a global phenomenon, and it's very likely to shape the world also in the next 30, 40, 50 years. And city regions, they hold the potential to really contribute to sustainable development. Local solutions are the key to achieve the sustainable development goals of the United Nations. And third, the challenges are diverse, but similarities hold potential for learning and exchange internationally on different continents. I really believe we can learn from each other. Of course, we have always to adapt our solutions to the local conditions. And I really want to motivate you, design the transformation. You are here really to implement this change. And I think it's important to always look at the connection between the physical structure, the design of a city, the technical aspects, with the social opportunities you give, the environmental progress, and the economic sustainability. So a building is not only a building, it provides, in the end, the social fabric, it provides a certain form of environmental progress, and it may support sustainable development also in the economic sense. If you look at cities and city regions and what they can do, I think it's key to have a strategic orientation, call it a vision, a strategy, and including, of course, an action plan with specific actions. Then you may have sectoral policies in the area of housing, regarding low carbon, and certain regulations. What you also should try to achieve are shining examples. So the example I gave you before, examples which show you can actually do it, you can actually make a difference. And then also I would try to highlight, because these kind of topics always come together with regulations, you should also give room for innovation, to try things out, to let people organize themselves, let companies make their efforts to become more sustainable and to contribute to their urban environment, and also support private initiatives. And last but not least, what you're doing now, listening to a video speech and try to gain some further education and knowledge. I think education and the professional culture is key when it comes to the development of city regions. Further development of our educational institutions and exchange in the professional sphere is key if you really want to have an impact. So what you do now if you plan a building, I would just say, and that's the key message of my video speech today, take into account the wider context. Look for synergies. Sustainable buildings should also be for the benefit of our urban communities. Think of that if you plan a specific building. And now I leave you with a final thought. We can name culture versus nature as a certain conflict we are facing. If you take the 3 dimensions of the Brundtland definition and you combine society and economy, you could call it as an own cluster called culture. It's about civilization, about our socio-economic development, which is confronting nature. Well, in the end, and that's the key quote on the slide, humans are part of nature, not superior to it. Only when they understand this, there is a chance to survive. So in that sense, we are all nature, and I think we should all think in this way a bit about our built environment. Thank you very much for your attention. Please feel free to contact me directly if you want to discuss an issue or if you want to have more information. Happy to learn from the exchange with you, and I hope also in some form we can interact during this program. Thank you very much.